Good morning, and welcome to the virtual worship service of the Unitarian Universalist Meeting House of Provincetown, where we affirm the inherent worth and dignity of every person, and where we support each other on our spiritual search for truth and meaning. My name is Reverend Kate Wilkinson, and I'm so glad that you have joined us this week for our worship service, The Shape of Things. This week I've been reading a fabulous book called The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. My sister first brought it to my attention. She texted me saying, "Have you read The Midnight Library? It's a lot to process." "Nope, haven't read it yet," I said. And then I went to the mailbox and opened a package from my friend Catherine, and what should be in there but the book, The Midnight Library. So I really felt like that was the universe telling me I should read this book, and now I feel like I should share it with you. It is indeed a lot to process. I've also been inspired this week by some fabulous poetry that I'll be sharing with you. So thank you for joining us this morning. And now, as I light our chalice here in the sanctuary of the meeting house, I invite you to light a candle wherever you are. In that way, we can feel together even while we are apart.
We come together this morning to remind one another to rest for a moment on the forming edge of our lives, to resist the headlong tumble into the next moment until we claim for ourselves awareness and gratitude. This time of laughter and silence, memory and hope is hallowed by our presence. Kathleen Mateague.
Love is the spirit of our meeting house. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth with love, and to help one another.
Spirit of life, come to me, sing in my heart all stirrings of compassion, blow in the winds, rise in the sea, move in the shape of justice, roots holding close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
Our reading this morning is Blessing for a Broken Vessel by Jan Richardson. Do not despair. You hold the memory of what it was to be whole. It lives deep in your bones. It abides in your heart that has been torn and mended 100 times. It persists in your lungs that know the mystery of what it means to be full, to be empty, to be full again. I am not asking you to give up your grip on the shards you clasp so close to you, but to wonder what it would be like for those jagged edges to meet each other in some new pattern that you have never imagined, that you have never dared to dream.
Who I am today will not be who I am tomorrow, and who I am tomorrow will keep changing every day. And all the things I learned might fill my heart with joy or sorrow, and everything I learned might make me want to change my ways. Oh, there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me. The family you were raised in does not dictate who you marry, and the country you were born in won't decide where you are buried, and all you once believed might leave you stranded on an island where the only way back home is to abandon it as lies. And there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing, the one thing life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows where their lives will lead, what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me, becoming me. I must stay open to the change, curious and free, and always ready to be rearranged. There is nothing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows what course their life will take, and no one knows who I will be as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming.
In the Midnight Library, the main character is 35-year-old Nora, who is having a bit of a rough time. Life isn't what she thought it would be at this age. She is full of regrets. She feels like she's let everyone down, including herself. She decides to end her own life. But in attempting to do so, she finds herself at the Midnight Library. Between life and death, there is a library, the librarian explains to her. And within that library, the shelves go on forever. Every book provides a chance to try another life you could have lived, to see how things would be different if you had made other choices. Nora is given the opportunity to take down a book from the shelf and read it. Step into it, really. Each one pulls her into a different life, a possible world in which she made a different choice, leading to an endless variety of different lives. It's kind of like the Choose Your Own Adventure books from when we were little. Remember those? Nora can now undo every decision she regrets as she tries to work out her perfect life. And if the new book she is reading doesn't feel like a good fit, she can return to the Midnight Library and choose another. But before time runs out, Nora must answer the ultimate question: what is the best way to live? What will bring her happiness? The thing is, we are each of us Nora in our own way. Maybe we aren't suicidal, but I'm sure all of us have some regrets. Some part of us that wonders what life would have been like had we made a different decision at some point in our lives. Or maybe, what would our life have been like if any fact of our lives were different? How we look, or how much money our family had growing up, or if we hadn't witnessed a certain event, or been in a certain place at a certain time. There are many books of our lives that remain unwritten, that have nothing to do with our own choices. Before Nora is offered the chance to choose her first different life, she is handed a book of regrets. Nora quickly realizes that the regrets in the book in her life range from minor, I regret not doing any exercise today, to the very substantial, I regret not telling my father I loved him before he died. There were continual background regrets, which repeated on multiple pages. I regret not doing more for the environment. I regret the time I spent on social media. I regret not going to Australia. I regret not having more fun when I was younger. I regret all those arguments with Dad. I regret not sticking with Spanish. I regret not getting married. I regret not being a better sister. I regret not living in the countryside. Some regrets were a little fainter than others. One regret shifted from practically invisible to bold and back again, as if it was flashing on and off, right there as she looked at it. That regret was, I regret not having children. That is a regret that sometimes is and sometimes isn't, explained the librarian. There are a few of those. William Stafford wrote a poem called Afterwards. Afterwards. Mostly you look back and say, well, things might have been different, sure. And it's too bad, but look, things happen like that, and you did what you could. You go back and pick up the pieces. There's tomorrow. There's that long bend in the river on your way home. Fluffy bursts of milkweed are floating through shafts of sunlight or disappearing where the trees reach out from their deep, dark roots. Maybe people have to go in and out of shadows till they learn that floating, that immensity, waiting to receive whatever arrives with trust. Maybe somebody has to explore what happens when one of us wanders over near the edge and falls for a while. Maybe it was your turn. The thing is, though we are all a little like Nora, though we all have regrets, the job before us is not the same as the fantasy one in the book. It's not for us to choose new possible lives from the books on the shelves or to explore all the decisions we didn't make. The job before us, the real life job, the job of our lifetimes, our spiritual assignment, is to piece together all of the chapters of our past, all of the shards of experience, all the decisions we did make, all the things we did see and feel and do, and piece them together into a shape of life that feels soft and smooth in our hands instead of jagged and sharp. It's not just our decisions that we must piece together, but the things outside of our control too, deaths and losses that had nothing to do with us, illnesses, family dynamics we were born into, societal expectations, prejudices, discrimination, privilege, luck. We need to piece together earthquakes and house fires, chickenpox and skinned knees, car accidents and winning lottery tickets. Some of us will stitch together cancer and divorce, meeting our best friend at camp when we were 9, becoming sober, or all the times we hid who we really are. All of us now are working toward piecing in the experiences of a pandemic. How has it changed us? Who are we now? What is our new shape? We piece together not just the regrets, but the accomplishments, not just the pain, but the beauty. Because all of it, all of the choices and all of the experiences, all of it put together, that's what makes us who we are. That's what gives us the life we have, the only life we have to live, this one, now. It was different to how I imagined, said Nora, returning from one of the possible lives she could have lived had she made a different choice. It's hard to predict, isn't it? Asked the librarian. Although it wasn't really a question, but rather something she seemed to know. It's hard to predict, isn't it? The things that will make us happy. I haven't finished reading the book yet, so I actually can't spoil the ending for you. But I imagine that in the end, what will make Nora happy isn't going back and redoing all of the choices, avoiding losses and embarrassments and disappointments, changing the future by changing the past. I imagine what will make Nora happy will be to finally embrace all of the pieces of her life that have already happened. Not looking back, but moving on from them to find the shape of her new life. Not a different one, but the rest of one. still with endless futures before her, depending on how she fits the pieces together. Albert Huffstickler writes, "The Cure. We think we get over things. We don't get over things. Or say we get over the measles, but not a broken heart. We need to make that distinction. That things that become part of our experience never become less a part of our experience. How can I say it? The way to get over a life is to die. Short of that, you move with it. Let the pain be pain, not in the hope that it will vanish, but in the faith that it will fit in, find its place in the shape of things. And then not any less pain be, but true to form. Because anything natural has an inherent shape and will flow towards it. And life is as natural as a leaf. That's what we're looking for. Not the end of a thing, but the shape of it. Wisdom is seeing the shape of your life without obliterating, getting over a single instant of it. Wisdom is seeing the shape of your life without getting over a single instant of it. May it be so for each of us. Amen. And blessed be.
Becoming me, I must stay open to the change. Curious and free, and always ready to be rearranged. There is nothing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows what course their life will take, and no one knows who I will be as I keep becoming